All right, everybody, we are alive. We got a hell of a bro chat going today. I cannot actually believe we got us all together. This is good. This is good. All right, everybody, welcome to the Afterburn podcast. We got a bro chat today. Kind of something we had been talking about recently is there is a new show on the interwebs called Rushmore. And you see all the sports talk shows talk about like the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks, about Rushmore of wide receivers and all this different stuff, and who would you put on your Mount Rushmore? And so we all decided to kind of get together and talk about the Mount Rushmore of fighter. Oh, that zoomed in. That's weird. The Mount Rushmore.
Get it closer.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
I'm sure we'll be able to fix that in post-production. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But we decided to get together and talk about the Mount Rushmore fighter pilots, and we did not talk about who we were going to pick or what criteria we were going to pick before we did this. So I'm sure it's going to go really, really well. But yeah, so we're just going to kind of dive right into it. Does anybody have any weird ones that they kind of want to caveat before we even get started? Or does anyone want to kind of chat about what criteria they selected?
Well, so that was one of the questions I had. I assume, are we using the traditional Rushmore, like these are only U.S. pilots, or did you guys go off book and you go like international?
America. Did anyone pick an international fighter pilot?
I did not.
Maybe if the U.S. would have lost in hockey,
America,
possibly I would have, but they didn't. They won. So,
no, I'm all
my kids listen to this, so I'm going to need you to edit that out.
I stayed American
Yeah.
fighter pilot. I stayed American fighter pilot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did look up. Basically, my criteria was you had to win the war you were a part of to be the and so that's
pretty good.
That was a little bit of that. So I stayed American as well. But well, who wants to get started? Oh my God, what is happening?
This is good. We're going to fix all this in post. We always edit this, and we always make it just pristine. So,
Yeah.
Of course.
That's so fair.
All right. The other question I kind of wanted to start with you guys, and I don't know who's going to get started, but does everyone? We just need to address the elephant in the room. That is everyone going to count Robin Olds as one of four or one of one? What is everyone doing?
I went one of four. He's on the Mount Rushmore. He's there.
Okay.
yes,
For me.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I
on
agree.
mine.
He's on your one of four? All right.
I don't understand
personally,
the question, I guess. What do you mean by one of one?
because like, does he deserve his own mountain or own statue?
Oh, I got you.
Is
I
like-
got you.
Is like, because if all five of us are going to put him on as number one, but I guess George Washington has to share a mountain too. So I guess that's a real thing.
That was gonna be my point. It's like George Washington, the GOAT. I mean, he's up there with all the boys, so it'd be
All
appropriate.
right. Well, I guess we're going to have
Sure.
to chat about that too, because Lincoln is the GOAT for me. But yeah. All right. Who wants to get started? Who's getting started? Bender, you starting us off, or Vader, you starting us off?
Okay, let's do it. So, what I thought was going to be a dark horse pick, which ended up being in the President's State of the Union yesterday. This is a guy I wasn't familiar with until I started researching it for this podcast. But Royce Williams was, I had a couple different criteria for who I wanted to add, but he fills the role of the sickest sortie of all time. Can you not hear me? Flash, you're making...
Sorry, that's how I zoom out on this stupid camera.
Like making talking. Yeah. Anyway, Royce Williams. So, Navy guy, F9, which barely is an airplane in my, so props on those guys for even flying that thing. But they were, I think the story is that they were ambushed by, kind of towards the end of their mission, I think it was 9 MiG-15s. All your Patreon, whatever, supporters can correct me if I'm wrong there. But anyway, his 3 wingmen had to leave. They were bingo fuel. And so he ended up just fighting on his own for like 30 to 40 minutes, I think, and took down 4 of them in a inferior airplane. Like MiG-15s were way better than the F-9, and he still managed to kill 4 of them and then made it back to the carrier, completely shot up, completely out of gas, which is maybe I don't know. Maybe there's one other sortie that I think we could argue is the best fighter pilot sortie of all time. But that's who I chose for my best fighter pilot sortie. So I don't think he was an ace. I think he only had 4 kills from that one mission. Got the Medal of Honor last night from President Trump. His mission was classified forever because they were Russian pilots. And so the U.S. didn't want anybody to know that U.S. pilots were fighting actual Russian pilots until I think 2000 is when they unclassified it. So pretty cool story. Royce Williams, he's going on my Mount Rushmore.
That's solid. I thought the coolest part of the whole thing was just like, yeah, keep this quiet for 50 years. Basically go against all fighter pilot instinct to talk about yourself. And he like didn't even tell his wife for 50 years he's like, I'm just the biggest badass of all time. But
yeah, they didn't have podcasts back then, so had they had podcasts, that would have stayed quiet for sure.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Only radio.
All right. So there's one. Who's next, Bender? We're gonna roll through your entire mountain.
We're going through my whole mountain. Oh, dang.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
Here at the early. Okay, that's so right. Foundational. You got to put Eddie Rickenbacker. He's kind of the George Washington equivalent in my mind. He set the bar for American fighter pilotness. 26 kills in World War I. So back in the day when nobody knew how to do it, I guess the French and the British and the Germans had been fighting for a little bit, but that's pretty good. 26 kills. So Eddie Rickenbacker's up there. My third, so it gets my third and fourth are harder to do, but I'm doing it. So I'm gonna put John Boyd on there, which I think will be controversial.
It's not,
but it's not okay. So John Boyd, no confirmed kills. I don't even know if he probably flew in some combat. I need to do some more research about that. But the guy created the fighter mafia. He's the one that analyzed and did all the higher level whatever math and all that stuff to come up with energy management things that led to the design of the F-15 F-16. F-16 being the greatest fighter ever built, and F-15 did pretty well too, from what I understand. It's hard to tell.
That's not bad.
But so John Boyd's up there, and then I got Robin Olds. Obviously, I'll let you guys talk about him. But honorable mention, though, I think David McCampbell, Navy pilot, 34 kills in World War II. But I was kind of going between him and John Boyd. He got 9 kills in one day, which, again, that's freaking awesome. Every fighter pilot's dream. Kill as many baddies as possible in a short amount of time. There you go. That's my Mount Rushmore.
All right, so let's go back. You had Boyd, Rickenbacker, Olds, and Roy and Captain Williams, which that guy's up. It was all right. Oh, did anyone what was the criteria people kind of came up with? Because I struggled with it, where it was just do we go back and talk about again eras or World War II, Vietnam and stuff like that, or is there going to be anyone that is a fighter pilot from 1980 and on that isn't named Robin Olds?
I have a question.
Go.
Because the criteria is tough, right? Because it's subjective. And then this is where I'd want to get your guys' opinion, because I think Flash, you lean into it. We saw 2024, the battlefield's changed, right? So the Strike Eagles had that largest aerial engagement since World War II. Obviously, the Air Force leaned into it. We had Silver Stars, multiple DFCs, and now we're seeing more and more Distinguished Flying Crosses come out with a lot of counter UAS type stuff. So again, the threats changed, the planes have changed. So how do you objectively take this subjective piece and quantify it? Because I think that's kind of what you're saying, the eras. So for me, I don't have anyone from 1980 on. Dude, if you go tangle with 30 planes out in the sky and you're maneuvering and gunning, not to discredit the threat today because very challenging, but like it's just different. So, I don't know if it's like I look back on it, I'm like, man, that's going out there and tumbling with a massive ball of planes and everyone's getting gunned. It's just, I don't know, it's different.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I want, that's what I want to hear your guys' criteria, because like that's the thing that I kind of remembered was LeBron James was on a recent podcast and he said like if Giannis or himself, he didn't say himself, he said Giannis, but he's just like if they were like if today's NBA players were playing against George Mikan in the Minneapolis Lakers in like 1950, is like they would score 20,000 points a game. And so it's like it's hard to compare the eras. You guys, it's a different game. It's a completely different game. So it's like, how do you compare completely different games? But I think it's interesting. You guys know my take on it is like, I know people disagree with me. I'm in the minority on this one, but like if you shoot down if you get an aerial victory, if you shoot down something, even if it doesn't maneuver in relation to you, I'm calling that a kill. Personally never had a kill in my life, so I hope that if I ever got one, that somebody would an airborne kill, or aerial victory. But I would hope that somebody would count it. But anyways, so I count it. But I completely agree. It's hard to compare eras, but I gave it a shot on my list.
So do
If you have a Strike Eagle pilot on your list, I'm gonna lose my crap. All right.
Finder's gonna have an aneurysm.
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, even if
have
they
to
had
stop the recording.
77 kills, you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So do you break it down by air, right? Like, if you put you guys in the F-35 managing like the threat laydown with surface threats that are very real and formidable, enemy fighters, and you get one kill with an AMRAAM, like you're still doing a bunch of stuff. It's different, so maybe you could break it down. We did talk a little bit before we hit record. I mean, again, Flash is the guy, people. So he's doing some work,
Well, yeah, it's tough. I think it's interesting. I mean, you guys. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, like you guys are on my Mount Rushmore, like everybody I fly with. But like the whole thing is,
I don't believe you.
It is.
Yes.
Bender, I believe you and Vader and Rain were instructors in the F-16 before I was. I think if we had to go ahead and compare dates, but anyways, all right. But that's a good rush. Bender, that's a good kickoff. Like, who else? Conan, who do you got, dude?
Well,
who do you got,
mine's similar.
And what's your criteria? And what was your criteria?
Mine was just like
interesting.
Dudes who laid the foundation. So yeah, they're probably big names, probably famous names, but laid the foundation for what we do today. So I kind of went World War I, World War II, and then really Robin Olds, John Boyd were my two like modern ones, if you will. But rolling through mine, Eddie Rickenbacker was mine. One, because he's like first American ace, laid that foundation for being fighter pilots. But my biggest consideration before the war, he was an open wheel race car driver in the early days of IndyCar and raced in the Indy 500, and that's dope. So he's a race car driver. He goes on there. Racing's awesome. Everyone should watch racing. So that was my first one. One difference I had from Bender is I went with Richard Bong from World War II. He was coined the aces of aces, so 40 confirmed kills in World War II. Flew P-38, which was that and the P-47 are my two favorite like World War II airplanes. So being able to see a P-38 in person when I was in the A-10B course when they had the Heritage Days out there was like awesome to see. So I love that airplane. And then not because we do it for awards, but Medal of Honor, Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Stars, 7 DFCs, 15 air medals, like it had 40 confirmed kills for World War II. It's great. Awesome. So that was my other difference from Bender. And then John Boyd on there, the 42nd Boyd with the nickname. I'm sure he would absolutely kick my ass at BFM, just like everyone else. But yeah, I took some other notes that Bender kind of touched on, but I read his book, after I was done with pilot training. So, Boyd, great book about his life, what he's done, goes into designing and helping design F-15, F-16, the OODA loop, EM diagram, like Bender mentioned, leading the fighter mafia, and stuff like that. So that's where I was kind of going with him. Just I feel like that laid a big foundation for kind of how we think about fighter aircraft today and how we teach it, and how we talk about it. And then Robin Olds, like I feel like that's everybody's kind of go-to, but that's why we all grow mustaches that may or may not be close to INREGs. And then it was just his story's great.
I'm trying.
Yeah, yours is there. But yeah, also read his books, and this is my show and tell. I was not a big reader growing up or in high school, but then I got this book and couldn't put it down. And that kind of led me finding other aviation books I was interested in. But if no one has read this book, I'm pretty sure our group has. But if anyone else, great book about his life, his story, what he's done. So Rob Knowles, absolute hero. Awesome.
Yeah, I think the Robin Knowles thing, that was before recording, and like what we've been talking about for the last few weeks is getting this together was, do we just go ahead and put Robin Olds in its own different category, or do we kind of put him on each of our mountains, if you will? And I think putting him on the mountain is totally fine. But again, basically, if someone were to put like a statue of a fighter pilot that everybody wants to be, it's that one. So I think that was pretty great. And just being a part of all like the quintessential fighter pilot conflicts. So like flying in World War II, Korea and Vietnam, and then finally finishing up in the Viper. I think that's
willing to go from
that's valid. I think that's awesome.
P-38s to P-51s, and then what do you fly in Korea? It's like F-86 maybe. Something like that.
I don't think he flew in Korea, right? Wasn't he coaching football at the academy or something during Korea?
Oh, I think so.
So
because
he got kills.
He got kills in World War II and Vietnam.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
But I thought but World War II and Vietnam is when he's got the kills, but around during Korea.
Then to go from a P-38 to then flying the F-16 at the end of your career, it's pretty insane.
That's pretty awesome.
And at least get to fly, the F-4 than doing that in Vietnam. But then to have that resume of things that he's gotten to fly, I think it's pretty nuts.
Yeah. Well, I'll go next. I'll take the next one, and then but we can kind of do that. Unless Conan, you got anything else on yours for criteria or anything like that?
That was it. It was just people like I said earlier that they kind of laid the foundation.
Yeah, I want to support Richard Bong, so I just want to throw that out there. He's the one that I really wanted to find a spot on the mountain for. So maybe he's my one of one. He's maybe the greatest of all time.
Oh,
for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like most kills of all time.
Yeah,
for American.
Ace of Aces.
Yeah,
Ace of Aces.
Actually, you know what? Before I go, so Bender, you said Dick Bong was your one of one. Was there a first left off that you went back and forth, or was it first out kind of person that you wish if we could have 5 spots outside of Bong?
That's Dick Bong. Oh, outside of Bong. Dave McCampbell is my 5 spot.
Yeah. Conan, did you have a 5?
I was looking at a Pappy Boynton. Honestly, I was kind of having to research a little bit more of I had 3 to 4 names. I'm like, these are pretty good names, but then I'm like, who else am I missing? And the more I read about other people's stories, and I was like, well, I could make a case for that person. I could make a case for that person. But yeah, I think Pappy Boynton is probably the one that was, am I going to put him on the mountain or not?
That's hilarious because he was my first out was Boynton. So No, that's like the cool part about this is guys act like we actually memorized every one of these guys' stories, but like you hear these stories in the bar, but like we went out and researched a bunch of guys, and like this is cool because I found out about a lot of fighter pilots I didn't even know about before, but everybody has super cool stories and again, this is all like an evolution, and have like 99% of fighter pilot stories you never actually hear about. So those are pretty cool. But
there was one. Sorry, Flash.
Go ahead.
I had one it could have been weird potentially, and I'm gonna butcher his name because I haven't looked at it in a couple weeks, but it's pretty much like the father of close air support. But he was like a aerial surveillance pilot, but then wrote the book on how to do close air support. I was, because just being like a former A-10 dude, I was like, that's near and dear to my heart. I want to put that on the list. But not actually flying a fighter, I was like, I don't know if I could do that. But for his like contributions to CAS and all that, and the first mission that I learned to fly in the Air Force, I was like, I want to put him on the mountain. So that could have been a weird one for me.
Yeah.
Trying to add that one, but
I think it counts. But
maybe.
Yeah,
But he's
there
a
are
fleet
weasel
fighter.
pilots
He's
that
a
I
fleet
wish
fighter, though.
could have put on the mountain. Yeah. Can't be a fighter pilot without flying a fighter.
That was
all right. Actually, I guess that now makes me ask a question before I get started. Is the A-10 a fighter airplane? Are they disqualified because it's attack?
No, it's a
I feel
fighter.
like they say it's an attack aircraft.
Oh.
I mean, you guys flew it. You guys tell us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
got
say
aerial
fighter.
victories.
Hey, we named nines
It
on
has-
the wings.
I mean,
That's how I
like,
got my
You
name.
heard it,
All right.
you heard it here first, everybody. FA-10. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's a hard no thanks. But I mean, you look at it, it's just like you got helicopter kills, you've got and then you do have a drone kill in the A-10 very recently with the gun, so that's pretty rad.
Well, that'd be sick.
We don't even know what's classified anymore here. But whatever.
Just let it flow.
Nothing is once you
let
put it on the
It was
internet.
in DCS. It wasn't actual real.
Yeah, that's what it was. Good job for those guys. Yeah. Well, good. Now that we got that established, my criteria was I struggled with the eras, kind of argument. So I was trying to go with a bunch of different eras, and I was just like, all right, cool. Do I have one spot for World War II and left? Do I have one spot for World War II, then like the Korea Vietnam area, and then do I have one for kind of the modern era, if you will? So that's kind of what I did. But to the other one is I have we'll have a Robin Holt statue put up somewhere, maybe just like in my backyard. So because he is just an absolute icon, even though Lincoln and Washington were icons too, we're going to talk about him and like everybody just aspires to be that. I think it'd also be really hard to chisel that mustache, like actually make it out of stone. So I think that would be really difficult. So I don't want to try. But my mountain was, the first one is Dick Bong. So you have basically those, like, you can't have a Mount Rushmore without the person that has the single most like aerial victories in the in United States aviation history. So you just can't, in my opinion, have one. So he was that. It was also my brother's academy class. He was their exemplar, so it was pretty hilarious. Like every time you'd hear someone say 03 or 2003, and everyone just go Bong. So that was pretty cool. So then my next one was Rickenbacker as well. So those are kind of like a little bit of those eras, like, again, standing on the shoulders of giants. The like Rickenbacker hat in the ring, being a race car driver is just like, who do you want to set the fighter pilot culture? those would be the guys that I would want. The person who has the most aerial victories and the person who decided this is what fighter piloting is going to be about. It's just going to be like setting your hair on fire and just being getting radical at all times. So there's that. I'll jump to the first one off. So my first one off was Boyd. So I kept Boyd off, but I knew one of you guys was going to put him on, and then also talk about him. But one of the reasons that he almost made it with mine was the whole EM diagram stuff, but then also him and Pierre Spray, like as far as designing the A10, like was like my real reason for Boyd, like his influence on basically talking to being the fighter mafia in the Pentagon and talking about like functional dominance with actual airplanes. So like basically sitting here is like, I'm going to make the F-15 that's just going to wreck shop and have air dominance and air supremacy. And I'm going to have the A-10 that's going to have ground dominance and long loiter times and all this different stuff, talking about gold plating airplanes like the F-35. So he was absolutely instrumental. I wanted to put him on, but I'm going to leave him off because there's just so many other ones. And I knew that one of you guys would do it. So I didn't want to like just disrespect the man for his contribution. So I got 2 spots left. I'm going to go with Tex Hill. So Tex Hill. So I'm a big Flying Tigers guy. That was my first squadrons. So being down at Moody and painting teeth on airplanes and stuff like that. And I just think like the whole story about the American volunteer group, like it's just like, hey, we're not in World War II yet, but we're just going to see if anybody wants to be a fighter pilot and go fight on behalf of another country and paint teeth on their P-40s and stuff like that is just the absolute coolest thing. So almost put Chenault, just like the leader of the Flying Tigers, like the General Chenault on the Mount Rushmore, but I actually went with Tex Hill. So Tex Hill, he was one of the first guys. He was super disciplined. There's a book that I read about. It was one of the first fighter pilot books I've ever read. And so like the Flying Tigers really focused on like they were going up against more experienced pilots, like Japanese pilots and superior technology, like technological airplanes. And so what they focused on was instead of turning, like they were never going to win a turning fight. So they did like the boom and zoom stuff, like energy. So they would just come in from high, get super fast, try to gun you almost on a high angle strafe and then like come off and then reset their energy and come on down. So I thought that was like very, very cool, like utilizing their airplanes and coming up with different innovative tactics. And then Tex Hill specifically was very focused, and I'm bad at it, but then I make my wingman do it. But he was very focused on formation discipline. He was just like, if you're out of formation, he would just like, I think he actually killed you. So like, I mean, like again, by the way, just like Bender was kind of talking about, let's not let truth get in the way of a good story on some of these fighter pilots. So like we can just, most of them have passed. We can just talk about their exploits, and whether it's true or not, we'll figure it out later. But he himself had like 12 and a quarter aerial victories, but then also he was a big air to ground guy. So dropping bombs and stuff like that. And then he was really the first commander of the 23rd Fighter Group, which is what Moody is today. So he was like one of the first commanders when they actually stood it up as the 23rd Fighter Group, when they actually became non-volunteers anymore, and actually became in the Air Force. So giving a shout out to Tex Hill and the Pappy Boyingtons of the world, and Chenault from the Flying Tigers. So there's 3, and then I'm just gonna be a little bit biased, and I'm gonna throw it on there, and people can argue with me all you want. I don't care. But I'm throwing a previous podcast guest, Lorenzo Harris, on mine, basically for just influence. Like, so when you look at some of the things that you guys were talking about, is just like the influence and leadership and culture setting was, I think, the modern fighter pilot isn't going to get as much recognition as previous, just based on eras and stuff like that. But like, talk about things that you're never going to hear about. Is just like the number of dudes on the ground that are still walking around because of this guy. And then overall, like, I would say if there's one dude along with like McGraw Mitchell, KONAN, you know him, that influenced who I personally am as a fighter pilot today. I wish I would have gotten to meet anybody else that's on the Mount Rushmore, but I would say Lorenzo for that. But he's got himself a DFC, and so does Rickenbacker and Bong and all these guys. So I guess if you're going to have that as a criteria as well, he's got one of those to hang in his basement. I think he keeps it like in a drawer somewhere. But yeah, so that's mine. So Lorenzo Harris, Bong, Rickenbacker, Tex Hill. Those are my 4.
Interesting. Very controversial.
Go with
I'm just
Go
kidding.
with-
I thought
Go
you were
with
going to say a
Go with
Strike Eagle
argument.
pilot just to mess with Bender and make him have an
Yeah,
aneurysm.
we should have.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That'll be sorry. Not gonna do it. I'm still not gonna do it. I'm gonna strike you, bros. I love you, but I'm sorry. You have to have one person in your airplane to be on this Mount Rushmore.
See, that is a good question. That's
One
something
and
we
all.
should talk about. Do we have to put both the front seater and the back seater, and do we have to put them in tandem on the mountain? Like, how exactly do
mountain.
we? Is it
That's a
like
good
over the
point.
shoulder? Is it like one of them right over the shoulder, like kind of a Brokeback type situation?
Like Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it's like the backside of the mountain. It's where what was that? The City of Gold and National Treasure. It's on the back of the mountain. That's where the Strike Eagle back seater sits.
The Widow goes. Yeah. Respect.
But it's just carved the back of their helmet, though, so they're still facing forward.
Oh, I love it.
Well, should I go next, or Rain, you want to go next?
Yeah, Vader. Yeah, Vader, you
All
go.
right.
Let's do it.
All right, so I'll go next. So the criteria I used for most of mine was like, obviously Robin Olds. So I assumed would have either added or talked about Robin Olds. And then it was like, hey, who was kind of instrumental in kind of making change. And then I heard Bender was like, all these kills. And I was like, oh man, I should have done like sick fighter pilot sorties versus like people who did admin as a fighter pilot. But whatever, you make decisions, you live with them. So my first one was Henry Harley Hap Arnold, which General Hap Arnold, and he was the dude who kind of was instrumental in creating the Air Force. So the reason we're not still part of the Army Air Corps, and the reason we have such exquisite finance, support agencies is because Hap Arnold. So we can all thank him for the amazing organization he helped create. So he was a fighter pilot, obviously.
Don't do that. Don't do that to Hap. Don't.
It wasn't his fault.
That's fine. It wasn't his fault. But
but Hap, yeah. So I threw him on there, and then so Robin Olds, and then Hap, and then Boyd. I thought obviously, especially playing to the audience. Most of us flew the F-16, and he was instrumental in kind of changing the game. And I did learn in my brief research that they referred to him as 42nd Boyd for how quickly he could defeat his enemies. At first, when I first read that statement, I was like, oh man, we have so much in common. But the last one was going to be Richard Dick Bong as well, because I was actually in Bong flight in Misawa. I was in B flight. So obviously he's got a ton of accolades other than me being in his flight in Misawa in the 13th Fighter Squadron, CP. But that was my list.
CP. Gosh. Great squadron.
Yeah. Woo. Good times. That's
a good list.
Yeah. I didn't have any additionals due to lack of effort. So that's my 4. Good.
I get that's No, that's a very good list. It's funny because Bong, it's the bomb flight call sign of the weapons school, the F-35 weapons school. It may or may not have been a call sign in a recent significant mission as the mission commander. So like choosing these fighter pilots to like be like the call signs of entire flights of current fighters is pretty rad. That'd be cool. I don't think McVeigh flight would work out like as well, or like Page flight. Like I would,
Yeah,
that'd be awesome to be on those.
Give it 40 years.
Give it time.
40 years from now, yeah.
Give it time.
Yeah.
Give it 40 years. Give it 40 years, and we'll see if we're flying with Parkhurst flight or Waters flight and
Yeah,
and
Parker's
Massour.
flight's a mouthful,
That'd
though.
be
I
pretty
don't know
rad.
what to say that.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Conan's a great call
I
sign
Conan.
for,
Oh, yeah, I
yeah.
like Conan.
Four.
I mean, that was the Eagle
But
call sign
Conan's-
for a
is
long
Conan-
time, too.
Conan, yeah, I was gonna say that's an
Eagle
Eagle
call
call
sign.
sign, right?
Yeah, with the C,
Oh,
though.
you're over
Mine's
there.
with a K.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's with a K.
That's
It's
right.
completely different. Completely different.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Brandon
Vader
Flight
is
does have a good
a
ring.
growler call sign.
Yeah, that's true.
Brandon
That's-
flight.
Yeah, Brandon Flight. It's got a good ring to it, you know. Brandon check too. Yeah, I could see that. You know.
I think Brandon flight had a different connotation in the last like 6 to 9 years.
that's true.
Pretty recently.
Yeah. Good point.
Really sullied the name, you know.
Yeah. Well,
It was good till it wasn't.
Hey, you know what? We all
had a good
respect our
run.
boss, but we're really nailing it the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But
I have.
anyways,
I want to add one more criteria for you guys to kind of think about. But
send
which
it.
one of these guys, when they became an ops group commander, would start wearing ABUs to please the nonners?
Yeah.
Because I think Hap Arnold's gonna put on the ABUs. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not
Yeah.
like, I don't
That
think
was-
you go onto the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what do we
That's-
call them? OCPs nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah,
ABUs.
Camouflage.
I'm.
Yeah.
I don't. I was gonna say anybody that's listening to this that may or may not have put on OCPs as a fighter pilot to represent your people. This is how we feel about that. I'm just gonna throw that one out there.
And we hope you guys feel that way about it too. I feel like if I was a maintenance like crew chief and some colonel's throwing on OCPs or like that's so condescending in my mind. Like get out of here.
I agree.
But
I personally agree.
Well, and they're really
Like-
clean.
anyway, something to
Pressed
consider.
and perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we got to talk about Patchgate at the end of this thing, by the way. That reminds me. But we got to listen to Rain first.
Oh,
Coming
for
mine.
sure, for sure.
Definitely the most important one for sure. We all care about me. I'm writing patch flight.
I do.
So
I
there's
do.
a
I do.
reminder. You guys hit on. This is so Old's right. That one's a given. That's etched in stone. I put McGuire, and I'll throw this out there. Right. I think the Bong McGuire. It'd be interesting to be in that time period of like the information flowing because I think there was some competition. Informal for the Race of Aces, which is a book, by the way. I don't know if you guys have read that. Really good book. Loco Lopez recommended it to me. And then when I'm flying from like Honolulu to Sydney or like Sydney up to Asia and like you're cruising past Port Moresby and Papua New Guinea and like looking down, there's cannibals down here. But I was like, I can't even imagine like blasting out on some like radar return of a massive blob and like go find the Japanese. To me, that's just wild. But so McGuire, 38 confirmed kills, Medal of Honor recipient. Sidebar, he did go to Georgia Tech, so like that's kind of cool. So,
There it is.
I'm slightly biased with that. I'm sure he was an engineer. I was just the dumb kid. And then we move on. This is one that it got bumped up, and it was actually because of an episode I did yesterday with John Mangan, who is a rescue pilot, and then something Flash just said. And so Mangan, he told a story of landing his helicopter in California to go. Someone said, "Hey, you got to go meet this old gentleman." He's like, he landed, met this old gentleman. I'm paraphrasing here, and so this guy was a pediatric cardiologist. It saved tens of thousands of kids with this like revolutionary procedure. Turns out, like, he didn't know it at the time. Someone told him afterwards that this guy landed on the beach in D-Day, was wounded right away. So that was his one and only day of combat. Someone pulled him off the beach and saved him. And so Flash just said, Lorenzo, like, you don't know, like, the one person, like, the implications and, like, how it might change history into lives. Like, those tens of thousands of children, like, what did they grow up to be that they wouldn't have ever been alive? So that's it with Boyd, drawing a parallel here. I think he put the fighter, what we know as fighters today, the way we think, the way we do things, for the most part, like, foundational. Well, like, without Boyd, I don't think this exists, because
Facts.
I'm like, you know, like, if you do, again, not to discredit what a lot of these guys have done in the past, maybe some of it might be right place, right time. Obviously, the skill set and the training to go out there and do it. But if you plot Flash back in World War II, would he be an ace? Like, probably say, like, there's a decent chance if he was in the right spot at the right time and the right plane, right? So that goes McGuire, Boyd, and then I'll throw it in there with Rickenbacker, right? Again, like, kind of the foundational guys setting the culture, because, man, there's so many. I mean, literally, there's so many giants were standing on their shoulders who've just done some incredible stuff. But this was a good. It was a great question, Flash. I mean, you really got us thinking here.
Yeah, like that's kind of like the thing is, like, another one that I was thinking about, where it was just like, okay, what do we do as fighter pilots, and where did it come from? Is like, hey, why do we enter the turn circle? Well, and it's a circle. It's a circle, by the way. It's like, why do we do
circle
that?
in 3 dimensions? So don't forget.
Sorry, Gato, you're not making it on my mountain, but I love you. It's like, well, why do we do that? And you're just like, oh, cool, because John Boyd is just like, hey, why do we talk about energy so much if in the event that you're energy disadvantage? Well, it's because the Flying Tigers kind of came up with all that, and then how do you fly formation and all these different things, and then at the same time, it's like, why do we want to grow mustaches and wear weird uniforms just to be a little bit rebellious? Well, that's because of Robin Olds and stuff like that. So that was cool. And then I don't know, like, how do we compare? I don't know. How do you compare eras? Was the big one that I had to look at was, well, if you don't have a conflict during your time as a fighter pilot, does that make you less of a fighter pilot? In my opinion, the answer is no. Just like you're talking about Rain, where it's like, well, if the 5 of us were in a squadron in World War II, how would we have done? Or if the 5 of us were in a squadron post-Vietnam before Desert Storm, how would we have done? Like, what's that? But I thought it was a cool exercise, and also just getting to know fighter pilots. And I hope that people, like, violently disagree with us and yell it out in comments or whatever. But yeah, I hope they do.
One other point, Boyd also Georgia Tech too. So, you know, I mean, again, like, we're just in there. Yeah, but yeah,
it's a conflict of interest, it sounds like.
Yeah,
you
probably excuse yourself.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, are we gonna have to, like, go with like, all right, where do the best fighter pilots come from as far as college?
Right. Next.
Yeah, where's Fresno State
breeding
on that
ground.
list? It's probably pretty. I know of 2. Yeah.
Yeah, Arizona State. The Arizona State golf team has put it, and Gonzaga golf team has put out some pretty good fighter pilots. I found.
One of one.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say the Air Force. I'm gonna go with the Air Force Academy has put out the best fighter pilots, but that's just gonna be me.
In the old times, I think you're right. I'm not sure about modern day, though. I mean, there are some great Academy fighter pilots. Don't get me wrong.
Well, I mean, a lot of the guys. Well, a lot of the guys we put out there were pre-Air Force Academy existing. So, like,
that's true.
Like,
that's a good point.
there you go.
So,
1959 first class. So
Who do you think is going to be the number one guy that people mentioned in the comments that we didn't even talk about? I'm thinking people are going to be surprised we didn't talk about Chuck Yeager is my guess. People are going to be like, what?
Yeah.
What happened to Chuck Yeager?
I did have Chuck
Yeah, I
Yeager
thought
on
about that.
my list.
Yeah.
Again, I can't, like, I'm not like discrediting. I'm definitely absolutely not discrediting him because like he did amazing stuff. But it's like, again, if we plot flashback to that time period, right place, right time, could he have been Chuck Yeager? I mean, again, foundational on the path, incredible stuff. But he was obviously in contention for me.
Basically, the entire movie of the right stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the astronauts were fighter pilots. They just did wild stuff in jets and out of jets, obviously.
Have you guys read Chuck Yeager's book? I think it's just called Yeager, right?
I have not.
It's pretty good.
read it.
He does hate on NASA like pretty hard at the end. Like you can tell that the editors are like, all right, you got to dial this back. He's basically like, they're not pilots. They're just riding a rocket. Like they don't do anything. It's pretty much the gist of his part about NASA. It's pretty good.
I mean, landing a space shuttle, I give that. Like, how about flying a brick at Mach 15 and like re-entering and like, hey, don't mess it up. Yeah, you got to land this one on this 15,000 foot runway, which is a long runway. But
Yeah. I was gonna say, you can't go around in the space shuttle, correct?
I mean, you can. It's not going to work out well. You're going to fly right to the crash.
You get one go around.
Yeah.
And then you crash.
Right to the crash site.
All right. Anyone smarter than me? Are there ejection seats in the space shuttle?
No, not a chance. Right?
Well, like,
I'm gonna say not a chance.
would you
so they're
want
like
one?
escape pod? All right.
Yeah.
You know, no. Google. But yeah,
Google
like,
might know.
Yep.
it would only be like
Jamie, pull that up. Jamie, pull that up.
I mean, like, it would only be if I haven't gotten there, but it would only be useful for just a short frame of like opportunity, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Ejecting in
If
space.
they put
I
ejection
gotta
seats on the space shuttle, then all that crap about like getting rid of certain screws just to save like 1 ounce of weight is a bunch of bull crap. So I'm not buying it.
But
That's true. While Rain's pulling that up, all you guys been to the Eagle Bar in Cambridge?
Yes.
no.
No.
Oh, gotta get
That'd
there.
be cool. That'd be a cool spot to do some podcasts.
Let's go.
Dude. Yeah, on location. I'm supposed to go there. I think I'm gonna go there. I think I'm gonna make it. I don't know. But I'm supposed to go there pretty soon. But I've actually gotten to go to Cambridge a few times in the last year, and that place is cool. For those out there, like the Eagle Bar it's in the back. There's the RAF bar where a bunch of World War II fighter pilots would get together, and you got Robin Olds has signed the wall, and like basically you sign the wall and put patches up. It's pretty cool. It's
That's awesome.
it's really great. That was sick.
Flash, like our layover hotel is like a mile, or no, it's like 5 blocks, 6 blocks from there. So we need to coordinate time when you're there, and I'll get a trip.
Well,
That's awesome.
okay. I mean, not beyond the scope, but what hotel? We could talk about the best TDY hotels at another.
Yeah. It's probably the exact same hotel I would imagine you stay at, because there's I see Air Force guys checking in there. If you get a letter of non-A.
That's right. That's right. I'm a Hilton
great.
guy.
That's the
So.
stuff we should cover.
Okay,
Let's talk about how we get non-A's on all of our TDYs. That's really the
100%.
the hard
You should invite some heavy guys who are.
And best fighter pilot to letters of non-A. What was that whole thing about, like, admin we were talking about earlier? So it looks like it was for the orbital test phase of STS-1 through STS-4, where there were only 2 crew members. As soon as it flew more than 2, they disabled it and eventually removed it from Columbia. I guess they didn't want the pilots going and then leaving everyone else behind, which, that's a dynamic decision to have to make in a, like a B-52 or a B-1, like, see you later.
Yeah. See ya. But all right, so there was ejection seats.
There was, yeah. And STS 1 through 4, according to NASAspaceflight.com, which I don't know if NASA actually runs that website. Doesn't seem like it, but it's mostly fact.
Yeah, I would trust him more if it was a .org, but I guess .com's fine.
The real NASA.com, man.
Biz.
Yep.
.cc.
NASA.biz. We're going to Mars, boys. We're going to Mars. But what do you think? What do you think these dudes that we all just talked about? Like, what do you think? Anybody want to venture to guess what they would think about fighter pilots today?
Well, I think we're pretty soft relative to what they would. I assume we would be, at least myself, sitting in the corner in the fetal position for the stuff that they saw. I mean, you think like the stuff that Dick Bong was doing, it's like, I mean, the stuff we train for is different, but I mean, it sounds like nowadays people are doing some more wild stuff, but like my combat experience is almost laughable compared to their combat experience,
Yeah.
I will say air is different, but like they probably wouldn't be on podcasts, so I'll take a hit for that. But dude, like doing this Midnight Hammer stuff with the Shaw guys, like hearing their story of like what they did, and that's like only the fraction of the F-16 Wild Weasel, and obviously there's a lot of players which we've talked about. Hearing what they were doing today, you're like, dude, those guys and gals were hanging it out, like making it happen, like deal with some significant threats and risk. I mean, can you imagine having a compressor stall across the line? Like that's spicy, Or hearing the fuel plan, like even the fuel plan alone, you're like, okay, well, this got to work out great. I mean, taking some exceptional risk.
I feel like the biggest thing too, like
I think
difference,
like all the
yeah, well, the difference, like World War I, World War II, like they're in combat with maybe some guidance on how to fly, what to do. Like there's training and stuff like that, but like they were figuring it out on how to do it correctly, how to do it efficiently in something that's repeatable real time. Whereas like now, today, we've learned those lessons. It's written, it's codified, it's taught. Where they were like, all right, we'll try this tactic today and see if it works with the enemy. And that's how they learn.
Dude, that's kind of like, dude, could you imagine? And it was like in World War I, when we're talking about like balloon busters and shit like that, where it was like, all right, 11 years ago, we figured out that things could fly. And you're like, oh yeah, things can fly now. And it's just like, and then everyone just goes, all right, go shoot something now.
Yeah, how can we put weapons on
it? Yeah, it boggles that like at the end of World War II, we were inside of 50 years from realizing that things could fly.
Yeah.
And these dudes were doing that. These dudes were doing that shit in combat. It is insanity. And just be, so get out of here. Like anything that we do forevermore is going to be just interesting, not compelling, in my opinion. And like those dudes are like their bar conversations versus my bar conversations is, well, do I shoot this far or do I shoot this far? I don't know.
Yeah. World War II is an awesome. I mean, all the books, especially the Pacific Theater, like it's so cool to read about. Like, I don't know. I think it's the Battle of the Philippine Seas. I shouldn't have even said that because someone's gonna like come back and correct me. Anyway, there's some battle where like it's late in the day, right? And the U.S. carrier groups just barely find the Japanese, carrier group or whatever. And it's outside of the range, basically, the fighters. And they're like, we can either like try to find them tomorrow, or like we just launch everybody and go see what we can kill. And maybe some of them are going to have enough fuel to come back, or maybe not. And they just launched them. And it's such a sick attitude. Like that, I think that, like you guys were saying, like hopefully that attitude has continued. We build off the shoulders of giants or whatever. But I think there's a lot of squadrons that if you said like, hey, we need you to launch and 80% of you aren't coming back, probably, I think they're going to launch. You know what I mean? That's built into I think, the attitude of modern fighter pilots, or it should be. But anyway, those stories are awesome. So they just go, sink these carriers, and then they ditch their aircraft and wait to get picked up, like the next morning or whatever. Like, that's pretty insane. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think, all right, again, I'm going to get fact checked on this one, and maybe I can look it up, but I think what you were just talking about was the origin of turkey shoot.
Yeah, I think it was right. Well, yeah, turkey shoot happened over Guam, right? Which I think.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think this happened after turkey shoot, but I don't know.
Okay.
People are look at us. We're just throwing stuff out there. But
I know.
10%.
10%
Both things
true.
happened. Timeline's a little fuzzy in my brain.
Drag it
How did you
loose.
guys go? You guys
Especially
know it
Bender.
all. I'm just happy to be here. This is good. This is
No.
academics for me too. Yeah.
Nah, dude, like fighter pilot history is fantastic. And I will say, to Bender's point and Rain, I can't wait until like the Midnight Hammer stuff kind of comes out. If we can talk, and we'll finish up with Patchgate here in a minute. But like, I do have it on good authority that while people are still like nervous and have some fear, like I know I do, of like the unknown and going into combat, is I have it on good authority that even if somebody is told, hey, there's a possibility you might lose 50% of your force tonight, that people say, all right, let's go. So that attitude still exists, whether it comes to fruition or not. Thank goodness it hasn't. But we'll see. But I love it. I love this little exercise. I love this exercise. I think it's good that we have consensus on a couple people. But I also like that all of us kind of had our own little criteria and had a couple folks that we had thought about. And then McGuire's a great one. I love that. So good. So shout out to all the dudes. All right, Bender, do you want to, what about Patchgate? What do you want to talk about to finish this out? Or did Bender leave us? Nope, there he is.
No, I'm back. I think Conan's got to take us through Patchgate.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it, guys. We're
go.
going to do this because
I wasn't even there.
I want to know what Robin Olds would say about this story.
All right. What's your Conan, how did this all I was there, so I kind of saw a little bit of it, but I want to hear Conan's perspective.
Well, I just have like an awkward story from it because
love that.
I love
two
awkward
individuals
stories.
that are also a party
ride
too,
together.
or at least saw it. They're in the office. Well, I was talking to one of them in the office. Like, hey, you were at the step test? Did you hear what happened, or did you see what happened? Like, tell me. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, well, this happened. No step, wearing wrong patches. Also no step because his haircut was bad.
Real quick, just to lay the foundation, right? I'm going to go back to, this is like a month or so ago. I saw some text, right? Like someone got no step for wearing the wrong patches at Hill, right? Like
that's correct. Right. It wasn't just the wrong patch. He was wearing a wild weasel patch.
Oh, okay.
Which if you've been around a weasel squad, like,
yeah, which they can only wear on Fridays or something.
Or something, yeah, some stupid.
And it's like a Tuesday. Yeah, so I was talking to my bro, and I'm like, dude, what? You tell me about it. Like, I need this information. I live for this. It's Tuesday afternoon, and I've been here all day. I've done nothing. Like, please tell me. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't see it. So then I told him, our group chat, the squadron is just going off. So I told him what's going on. And he's like, oh, I'm like, no way, no shit, that's crazy. And he was a former Navy dude. He's like, in the Navy, we don't give a you know what about what patches you wear. And as soon as he says that, said individual that no stepped, the dude walks right into the office. I was like, oh, hey. We're not talking about you at all.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Can I ask some questions?
You may. There are questions. I have
the guy who
three.
walked in the office, is he the one that no step the person or he got no step for wearing the
He was
patches?
the one who no stepped the person.
I don't even know this person. I have a lot
It
of judgment being outside of this.
outranks me by quite a bit.
Yeah.
Couple grades.
Couple steps.
I don't get it, guys. And I know you guys are all tied to it. So I mean, like outsider looking in, there's just
He didn't only get no stepped; he got grounded for 5 days. So this is a big deal for this guy. Like this is my understanding. It's either a flug or an iPug ride. So I guess the boards are like immaculate. The brief was amazing. He's like dressed, ready to go. This is my son Jeff, by the way, who's just jumping in this conversation.
What up, Jeff?
welcome, Jeff.
Okay.
You're on the internet. Your face is on the internet.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sign his parental consent for you to publish this, so you gotta edit that out. But anyway,
mark this now.
He gets to the step desk, ready to go for this flug ride or whatever, and then or iPug ride, and then the said individual walks by, and I didn't see this part. I saw after he got undressed. So, but apparently, he like pulled him aside and was like those are the wrong patches. You're done. Like go back, get undressed, and then I don't know how the 5-day grounding happened, but it did. So then when I saw it, he was walking. This pilot was walking down the hall with his squadron commander, and they're having a pretty emotional conversation, I think, about kind of what was going on. Anyway, his hair was pretty righteous, so I kind of that one I'm like, that's not very defensible, but the patch thing is right out.
So has this been?
Yeah.
Oh,
so nope, that was, and then it just like lit on fire after that, like completely.
Had this been like a long time coming? Like, was this something like, hey, patches, like how we all have those meetings, and it's like the commander is like, hey guys, you really need to tighten up the patches, and he's just the messenger? Or was this something that came out of left field, that it was like a one and done kind of thing?
It's both.
There was a warning.
It's both, weirdly. There was a warning. And so it was there was a warning, but it's hilarious because we have a guy that I know very well. When they put out like the, hey, we care about patches again, and grooming standards stuff, the individual that signed that piece of paper, we have it on good authority that 4-star doesn't actually care about your patches and if your call sign's on your name tag or anything like that. So at least that's good. It was everybody between that works for that individual that actually cared that would like no step dudes at red flag, which has also occurred. And all of that stuff. So it's like, there was these warnings and signs were coming, but God, it's a tough look. It's a tough look, dude. And where I'm sitting here and I'm like, Robin Olds wouldn't murder us. Like he would just actually murder us. So that's like a little bit of the conversation. And then, yeah, it's,
it's like, look at it, it's like, it's such a, like you said, a tough look. Like I get the good order and discipline. Like if you give a warning, hey, but by no stepping a fighter pilot on an upgrade ride, like you're kind of signaling like what's more important here. And patches, I think we would all agree, like that's kind of a silly thing. And so like, again, I'm not in that situation, right? But it seems like there's a lot of other ways to handle it. Like if you're trying to be tough and like make an example, like it almost it backfires in this culture. Like when you have high performing individuals who don't play silly games and recognize like, dude, we're tired of the BS. It's almost like pull the guy aside and say, you're going to change your patches, make him pay some penance, right? But like you're prioritizing patches over combat capability. You're like, dude, the guy wearing a wild weasel patch, I bet he's going to go out there and like prosecute and execute at a very high level. Maybe not an upgrade ride, but he's going to do the best he can. You're like, again, like
it was going to be slightly below average.
Right.
I'm sure
somewhere in that range, right? They're like, what is more important here? I don't know. I'm not there, so it's easy for me just to throw spears. I'm like, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's one of those where
It's like
Yeah,
this dude,
setting.
he's in his fighter squadron. He's going to walk out to his jets. He's going to be in a jet by himself, fly and come back. Like if he was at like some wing promotion ceremony, if there was some like massive thing, he's going to receive like an Air Force level award and there's going to be PA all around the country. Like, okay, copy.
Yep.
Like we need to tighten up for that. But it's like, this dude is not representing anything other than I'm going to train to go to war. And specifically right now, as things are heating up around the world, you're like, no. Exactly what you said, Rain. Like, I'm more focused on this one thing in your tiny little setting, which is your space of this. It just seems to, the correction, whatever, but like the timing.
Yeah, pile on. Was he going out there to do some seed type stuff on this upgrade ride? Yeah,
Most likely.
Probably.
You know, like I want this guy like dressed to kill, like go out there, fangs through the floor, right? I know, like go do wild weasel stuff, man. I want you wearing a wild weasel patch, and dude, there's a lot of other ways I think you could have handled it to show where the priorities lie. Like, yeah, man, it's like when your mustache gets a little too long and the boss says, "All right, you pushed it enough," and you're like, "Copy shot. I'll go. Yeah, I'll trim it up." You know, but then expect me 2 weeks from now, you're gonna have to tell me again because I'm gonna keep pushing those bounds.
And I also like that's the other one too. Is it's like, again, whatever people like to do and what they want to do is over to you. But like, I feel like back in the day, somebody would have just walked up and kind of like whispered in his ear like this, and been like, "Hey, guess what? The men's bathroom looks pretty dirty. How about you go ahead and clean that when you get back from your sortie?"
There you go.
And it's just 100%. It's like, here's a toothbrush. And and like, it's like, if you want to go that route, like that, I think that'd be cool in 2026. It's just like, or maybe we just get some liquid soap inside of Hill Air Force Base. That'd be cool.
Right.
That's you don't like the bars of soap that we all share?
With the hair on it. With the hair on it. If there's not a hair on it, it's not real. So
that's right. What happened to 5th gen money? Where did all the 5th gen money go, guys? The
sports facilities. But all right. Well, I gotta tell you, I gotta get going. I'm gonna get some folks at school. That was a hell of a bro chat. Thanks guys for jumping on. Guys, hit us in the comments on what we missed, who we missed, any other criteria. Violently disagree, throw spears. Please do that. Any other parting shots, or what are you guys up to these days? Anything cool going on today? I have nothing going on today.
I have the meeting with the wing commanders.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be late to my 9:00 staff meeting because of this. Which is, see, you got to prioritize the right things, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Just like,
bro.
Yeah.
Also, my wife is. But I'm not gonna say what I'm about to say. This is gonna go out. This is gonna be consumed publicly.
Actually, I need everyone in the world to know that Bender is my boss now, and I'm also not going to go to the staff meeting.
Both of you are my
I need
bosses.
you to post that you're gonna be late to the staff meeting.
That's awesome.
Well, let's talk bosses. All right, you guys are awesome. Take it easy, fellas. Thanks for listening. We'll hit you up later.
See you guys.
See ya.
See you, fellas.